Welcome to the final video update for the capital works here at Boston Lodge. We are really this close to practical completion. Over the last 2 years we have built 4 new buildings and we have restored or altered 7 existing buildings. So what we're going to do today is show you all the good work that's been done both inside and out. So here we are in the top yard, which is where a great deal of the work has been happening. And I'm going to ask John now to just pan around the top yard. I don't think you will ever see it this tidy again. There are still a few vans in the way, but we've got a lovely new surface on the top. And underneath my feet, what we've got is a much better infrastructure, both for rainwater disposal, for ducting, and for all our future requirements. So it'll be much better in the future. And what we've got in the top yard, with the top yard now, is from the railway line, there'll be this golden view into the historic part of Boston Lodge. So it looks very different. So now you're back to here, let's just say a quick word about our friend Plasmart. I'm sorry it's been used just to put a few things in the short term as we're tidying up. Although this wasn't part of the main project, the inside has now been restored and finished, so that will be used as locker space. So from Plasmart, we're going to move over now to the wagon repair shed, which, as you know, is the creation of the old building. Nobody in their right mind would build a building against an unstable piece of rock like this. The railway has done it once before, so now we've done it twice. So because the rock was unstable, we've had to pin it to satisfy modern requirements, but we've now got this fabulous building with the pillars in the same place as the original, and we've got stores here. And then this is a really good space for orientating groups when the tour groups come in. So we've got a nice site map here, we've got a slate wagon, and when the weather is doing its usual Welsh loveliness, it will keep people dry for at least part of the tour. So I think this is an absolutely great space in here. It's incredible being this close to that rock, although I am very pleased it's nicely bolted together. But it creates a very atmospheric space and is really good for when we have tour groups. So this is really important. And then as we move around, we've now got some new gates behind which we can hide lots of skips and things, which is very useful. And then we've got the new training and research centre here. And actually what we're going to do is sneak in now and have a look at what's happening inside.
Here we are in the National Lottery Heritage Fund Research and Training Centre holding our management meeting.
Here we are in the blacksmiths, which has been used already as volunteer engineering workspace, particularly for the slate wagons. The work in here that the contractor has done has been limited to the fire alarm and data, but our own rather brilliant in-house electrical team will be updating the lighting, and we've got a little bit of budget to do a bit of extra fitting out of equipment, including pillar drills and things like that. But providing this space for volunteers to work in is really important. So in between the training and research room, where you can see the lights on in the distance, and here is a little parking space for a quarry Hunslet. But at the moment, it's a parking space for new lockers and new furniture for the den as we're waiting to reach that magical practical completion. And then what you can see is the new doors that have gone in. And actually, when you stand in the training room, you can see all the way through both of these doors, right the way through to the blacksmith. So actually, people can get an idea of some of the stuff that's happening. Here I am standing in the old telephone exchange, which obviously is no longer here. But by removing that, we've been able to recreate the historic corner here as it was, with the new window into the brass foundry and reinstating the door into the old oil store. Although, because there are toilets at this end of the old oil store, that door is actually non-functional. It's just there for show, but it's about the historic view. So let's go inside and see what we've got inside the old oil store. This is a building of two parts. This side of it is a couple of toilets for visitors, so they don't have to share with the engineers. We're really pleased with these tiles. We've managed to find them in railway red, which is very much in keeping. This is the other half of the old oil store, which is now the server room. We did think about coating these in railway red, but we decided perhaps that was a step too far. We have had some challenges in here. Two challenges. One, because the back of the building is right against the steps up into the barracks. It's quite damp, so we've had to put a French drain at the back. And then also the paint that we first put on these walls has actually, in places, it's just crumbled straight off, even though it was specialist paint. We've done a trial of a different paint, and so we've got to repaint this. Because obviously dust and IT are not compatible, so we do need to get this right. It's very unusual to have a paint fail quite so spectacularly. I don't know whether it's related to how expensive it was, but you never know. But we will do it again, so we've got it right. But this will provide much better space for all the IT equipment, and it's got ventilation, carefully filtered, so all the lovely stuff that gets spat out of engines doesn't come in here, but is filtered out, but it'll keep it all nice and cool. This is a, believe it or not, much tidier brass foundry with a lot of the stuff removed. Putting the window back in has also brought in quite a bit of light into this area. This will remain as a railway store, and upstairs we've still got to suspend a mirror so people can see what's on the shelves there. But there is never enough storage in a railway, and there's still a certain amount of sorting out to do in here, but it's much improved. And the big thing we've done on the project is repaired the roof, which was in dire need of some attention. For those of you with long memories, this is where the old den used to be. It is now a new store. Fitted out with rather splendid steel shelving that will take heavy weights. This is the iron foundry, not quite in its finished state, but we've removed the false ceiling that was there, so it's now opened up to the rafters, and we've repaired the roof. Actually, not repaired, we've got a new roof. We had to repair around the skylights, because as always, that's where the rot had set in, but there wasn't too much of that to do. And what we're doing, as you can see here, is creating locker space. It's not all set out yet, because our wonderful electrical team have been putting in the new lights and some new heaters. We've both got some infrared heaters that will warm you from the top. These are on push buttons, so they only come on for a few minutes at a time. We won't be wasting energy. And then underneath the lockers, there are some little tube heaters, so we've got a little bit of heat coming at low level as well. By the time we've finished, we will have 150 lockers, new lockers around the site. Most of them will be in this building, and we hope that that will make quite a big difference for people. But we've still got a bit of work to do to bolt all the lockers together and secure them to the back wall, but we're very nearly there. I never know quite what to call this building, because at the end, at low level, it was the oil store, and then to the other side was kind of electrician's repository for far too many things, and possibly a workshop, who knows. But it's going to be all sorts of things in the future, because we've extended it backwards. So this part is the new electrician's workshop. So we'll take a quick look inside. So here we are in the electrician's workshop. What you can see at the moment will be a space for a trolley for charging batteries and a workbench. We've also got ventilation there so that the soldering can go on. And then on this far wall, there'll be a workbench running along most of that. And then there's all sorts of gubbins at the end on the basis that, there'll be certain storage here. As we come round, you can see all the gubbins, electrical gubbins. We've put this in here, partly because electricians generally know, don't touch it. It's far too important, so it's easier to leave it in this space. And as we come round that, of course, we're using it to store lockers at the moment, which is inevitable, but before long, we'll be able to finish fitting this out. This is the new path, which leads both to the new control office, which we'll go into later, but also to the new first floor of this building. So follow me. So here we are in what's actually quite a small electrical store, but it does at least provide some space under the eaves here. And here's the plant room with all the clever equipment and the water tank for all the hot water we need. This is served by the air source heat pump, although we do have a top-up system as well. I just think the controls look amazing. I still don't know what they all do, but we did film a demonstration of them all yesterday. So what we did with this building is we recreated the gable end that was on the building originally, and that had to be demolished, presumably because it wasn't safe. But what that's enabled us to do is create this rather splendid office space. Applications to Mr. Paul Lewin, for who occupies here, will be warmly received. So here we are in the same building, but we're now at the front, and what we've done is recreated the gable end, which what created that rather splendid office we've just seen. But on this side, what we've got are all the facilities. So here, we're going to go into the washroom, and into the gents, and into the new den. So this is the wash-off area with the new trough. We're just putting the final taps here for the cleaner, final finishing and painting. So we are very much hoping to open this up officially next week. And in here, we've got the gents. There are no gents hiding in there at the moment. And the lights have gone off. Here we go. I'm hoping these will be much better facilities than have been put up with in the past, particularly over the last 2 years, where people have been subject to containers for all sorts of facilities. This should be a massive step up. So from the wash-off area, you have to imagine you're in a restaurant and go through this door that swings both ways. That's why there's a window in it, so you don't beat each other up, into what is the new mess room. And one of the things I'm very pleased about is this bespoke stainless steel top and whole work units, which is much easier to keep clean than the usual kitchen units. Brand new water boiler. There's all sorts of new equipment going in here, and we hope to fit it out with its furniture on Monday next week and start using it shortly after that. Again, this should be a really good space, and so nice now that it faces out onto the main yard, so it's putting the den at the centre of the site. We move through into the ladies' area, although the first bit is for lockers. So we're going to squeeze a few lockers in this space. If you remember, this actually was a locker space. I was always amazed how anybody could squeeze themselves between all the runs of lockers and get to their own. So they won't be quite as tightly packed as that, but there will be a few in here. And then this is the ladies' area. Not quite clean yet, but almost pretty much finished. So there's a shower and 2 loos and obviously wash area. And we'll be able to fit some lockers in here for ladies as well.
And also, still nearly finished, is the small loco shed. And just to prove some of the points I've been making over the past few months, we've got one of the tallest locos in the fleet here, K1, which is causing a good bit of interest for the tours. The tours, of course, are still coming round the small loco shed. And K1 is here as a pioneer, a fine exhibit, but also it's clearing some storage space and some working space at Dinas. So the benefits of this shed are not just seen here at Boston Lodge. So still a bit to do to finish off here, but it's performing its function for both the tours, and we're also able to use it to stable locos, especially over the bygones weekend. So this extra capacity is already coming in useful. Hopefully we'll finish it off over the winter and it'll be a fine thing for many generations to come.
Here I am on the steps leading up to number 1 Boston Lodge, which has been converted into a couple of flats. We'll go and have a look inside now. So this is the ground floor flat. This is the main door to it. You can see we've been able to keep, they haven't finished painting it yet, so don't worry about that. We've managed to keep the original architraving here. So this will be the main door into the flat, and this will actually be the sitting room. So if we're able to just pan around, you'll see, not yet tidy, but a space for a wood-burning stove. We've got the chimney lined and everything's ready for that. Marvellous views over the Cobb. From the sitting room, we can walk through the galley kitchen. Again, absolutely splendid views across the Cobb as you're cooking. But it's small, but there's everything you need in here. And then through into the bedroom. We've managed to retain the original red tiles on the floor, which is encouraging. As you can see, railway red tiles everywhere. So this is the way up to the first floor flat. Come and find out what we've got in here. So this is the bathroom. In a small flat, this looks very generous. But because this cottage number 1 has had so little done to it, we've been very keen to retain as much of the original as possible. So we've kept the room partitions exactly as they were, rather than destroying them. So it means there's actually quite a generous bathroom here. This is the bedroom. So there's a little cupboard in here, which has got some equipment in it, but there'll be space for storage and things there. Again, you can see the lovely wonky edges here that just show how old the building is. So all we've done is carefully lime plastered over that. You see the door itself is original as well. And so we've just kept that. So wherever possible, we've kept the original, and we've only scarfed in floorboards where we absolutely had to. So a lot of these are the original floorboards. And finally, the upstairs sitting room, and there's a very tiny kitchenette, which we'll pan round to in a minute. So we've got fire. This will not have a wood-burning stove in it, I'm afraid. Chimney's not up to it. But again, you can see on the lime work, we've got all the lovely original edges there that have just been renewed. And then we've put a tiny kitchen here. So this is for people just staying short-term, temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are on the path again that comes up from the central roadway. This is the new store, the back of the new store, which is where we've got all the air source heat pumps that are providing the heat and the water for the new den and electrical workshop and for the barracks. When there's a heat wave next summer, which there's bound to be, because this is North Wales, this will be a great place to stand, because these spit out an awful lot of cold air. But let's go in now and see our new control office. So we're now at the stage where we're fitting the bespoke control desk that's going here. And what they're doing is they're making a template out of hardboard first to make sure they get it right, because it's got to go round everything and into the window reveal. The legs here were manufactured on site and were sent away to be powder coated. So they're nice and strong, and they've been designed so that the controllers can sit where they need to and have the screens on the wall and not have to fight with their legs underneath the desk. So this again is going to be quite different and hopefully a step up in the facilities that are provided. And then if we then walk through into the rest of this, behind you we've got the little kitchenette area for the making of very important cups of tea. This is the accessible toilet, but it's a secret accessible toilet because it also has the access to the plant room. Come upstairs to the new operations office. This is the little meeting room. It won't have the ladder in once we've finished. It will have a table and 4 chairs, both of which have arrived but are hiding elsewhere on site. And this is the new operations office. So Matt and Mikey will be sat over there. Again, their desks have arrived, but they're in pieces and elsewhere on site. And then there'll be desks along this side as well. I quite fancy this office for myself because it's got splendid views across the cob. We're in the old engine shed now, and you can see, and I expect hear, the film about the volunteers playing. So this is one of the things we use towards the end of tours to do that, but this is a really good place, again, for people to see things before they head back off to Harbour Station. We still haven't got the partition put in here, but it will go in around probably before Christmas. The Wooden Wagon Federation are kindly building that for us, so it's in process. And that will separate the two parts of it. We've got these marvellous old cupboards with the old paint cleaning debris on the doors and various artefacts inside. We've still got to decide what machine to put on this plinth, but we'll do that eventually. But this does give a really good space. And we've got an excellent image on the back wall of the place as a workshop. In the extension to the old loco shed, there are more likely to be things that will remain here permanently. One of them you can just see on the edge of your picture is the old boiler from Welsh Pony. But then it depends what else is going on. Oh yes, what we've got here is Princess next to me, also likely to stay in here. So it's really nice to be able to show some of these older engines off here, along with the carriages on the other 2 tracks. This is the last of the monthly video updates of the Capital Works. This one has taken you around all the spaces to show what's been done over the last 2 years. My work will continue until March because there's plenty of snagging. There's lots of other work to do with the volunteer development and the workshops. But I hope people will appreciate that this sees a step change in the facilities at Boston Lodge. It isn't all that there is to do, and the work will continue.